Perhaps it comes on a quiet evening when you are lying next to her, and the silence suddenly becomes unusually heavy. You look at her, the woman you were once willing to do anything to have, and you have to admit a terrifying truth to yourself. The fire is gone. The touch of a hand is now just a habit. The intimacy now only brings the feeling of kinship, and that is when that voice starts to gnaw at you from the inside. The whispering voice you dare not tell anyone about. Is there something wrong with me? Have I fallen out of love? Am I a terrible man? Stop. Listen to me. Stop right now. The answer to all of those questions is no. You are not alone on this journey, and more importantly than anything, you are not at fault. What you are experiencing is not a sign of a failed love. Quite the contrary. It is proof of the success of an ancient biological program, a source code that has been running unconsciously within you since you were born. Nearly 2 centuries ago, there was a German philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, who dared to look this brutal truth straight in the eye. He did not offer empty consolations. He decoded that entire program and found the exact reason why the flame of passion must fade. And the truth he found, it is terrifying. But at the same time, it carries a strangely liberating power. In this video, we will not waste time with worthless advice. We will dissect a grand illusion together. We will expose how modern life itself is silently killing your desire. Prove it with an undeniable biological phenomenon. And finally, I will give you the truth from Schopenhauer, a truth that will free you from the burden of shame forever. Let us begin with the first trap, the trap that perhaps you yourself are living in every day. And that trap, ironically, is the very thing that the entire world, from romantic movies to family magazines, celebrates as the pinnacle of love. What society calls romance, Schopenhauer called a beautifully decorated prison. We are taught that merging 2 lives into one is the ultimate goal. Sharing house keys, leaving a toothbrush in each other's bathroom, combining Netflix accounts, and finally combining entire lives. We believe that erasing all boundaries, sharing every secret, every burden, every moment is the expression of a true love. It sounds so poetic, it sounds so right, but I am here to tell you that it is one of the most sophisticated illusions. In reality, it is a failed experiment. An experiment in which you might be the main subject, and your fading desire is its inevitable result. Schopenhauer laughed at this idea. He knew that instinct cannot be tamed by convenience. He warned that you are placing a sacred instinct under the fluorescent lights of routine, and then expecting it to retain its mystery. You are dissecting a dream with the scalpel of familiarity, and yet you expect it to still sing an enchanting song. Desire by its very nature cannot survive overexposure. And here is why, a reason no one tells you. All of this, the entire structure of a modern relationship, is silently neutralizing an invisible but critically important energy. It is called polarity. Imagine a magnet. The strongest attraction is between its 2 opposite poles, the north and the south. It is the difference, the tension, the energetic distance between them that creates an irresistible pull. Masculine and feminine in their primal essence work the same way. Attraction is born from difference, from mystery, from the feeling that there is another world you want to explore, to conquer. But what happens when you merge those 2 poles? When you share the same bathroom every morning? When your schedules are interwoven with no gaps, when you know every story, hear every complaint, share every burden, and expose every weakness? Polarity slowly dies. You are no longer 2 opposite poles with a powerful attraction. You become a single homogeneous mass, warm, comfortable, and completely devoid of electromagnetic pull. You become great roommates, you become an excellent team, but you are no longer lovers with a burning flame of passion. That is the harsh truth. The very daily routines you thought were building intimacy are, in fact, passion killers. But why? Why do closeness and familiarity have such a powerfully destructive effect? Why do a man's body and mind react this way? The answer, my friend, is not in cliché psychology books. It is much deeper than that. It lies within your very biological source code, in a brutal and ancient command of nature called the Westermark Effect. And I promise you, once you understand this mechanism, you will never look at your relationship or your fading desire the same way again. The Westermark Effect. You may have never heard of this name, but I assure you its source code is running in every cell of your body right now. It sounds complex, but in essence, it is extremely simple and brutal. This is a phenomenon that has been documented and proven worldwide. Children who are not related by blood but are raised together in a close sibling-like environment, from shared meals to tumbles and scrapes to childhood secrets. When they grow up, they almost never feel sexually attracted to each other. Let that sink into your mind. It is not because laws or morals forbid them. It is because of something much deeper. Their instinct, their biological operating system, has automatically flipped off that desire switch. Absolute familiarity does not breed romantic intimacy. It breeds a subconscious sexual aversion. Now, this is where we need to be honest with each other. Let us set aside the theories for a moment and look directly at your relationship. Think about the constant, almost 24/7 proximity, the complete exposure, where not a shred of mystery remains. The familiarity so deep that you can predict her every word, every reaction, every single minor habit. Do you see the alarming similarity yet? Without even knowing it, you and she are unconsciously recreating the exact same sibling-like conditions in your own home. You witness her at her weakest, most tired, and least attractive moments, and she sees the same in you. The boundary of difference is erased, and the reverence for an other world gradually vanishes. And here's the truth that will free you from the burden of guilt. This is not a bug in your program. This is a built-in safety feature, programmed with incredible wisdom. Think about it. Why would nature create such a cruel mechanism? The answer is incredibly intelligent: to prevent inbreeding, to ensure genetic diversity and the health of future generations. It is a biological firewall, a survival mechanism for the entire species. Your body is not doing anything wrong. Your mind is not broken. It is simply obeying an ancient command, a wisdom forged over millions of years of evolution. Your body is not betraying you. It is protecting the future of humanity. It is functioning perfectly. But this, my friend, opens up an even bigger and more terrifying question. If your body is just a soldier perfectly obeying orders, then who is the general giving the command? If the burning desire you once felt was not truly yours, but just a pre-programmed command, then to whom does it truly belong? Schopenhauer had a name for it. He named the invisible dictator controlling us all from the shadows. And that is when we move from biology to philosophy. It is called the will to life. Try to imagine it not as a conscious god or a preordained destiny. Imagine it as a primal, blind, invisible hunger that exists in every living thing, from the weed pushing up through a crack in the concrete to the salmon swimming upstream to spawn and die. It has no higher purpose other than a single, brutal, and absolute command: continue to exist, reproduce and sustain, push life forward at all costs. And in this grand play, my friend, you are not the audience. You are not even the main actor with the power to decide your own lines. You are just a puppet born with the strings already attached. And the strings that control you, they are not crude strings. Oh no. They are woven with exquisite and seductive craftsmanship. They are called by beautiful names like love, passion, romance, poetry, sleepless nights, a burning desire. All of them are just beautiful strings that the will to life uses to pull, tug, and manipulate you down the path it wants, not the path you choose. It does not care about your happiness. It does not care about your marriage, your loyalty, or your peace of mind. It has only one demand: perform the necessary act to continue the species. Ensure that the play of life goes on after your curtain falls. And here perhaps is the greatest betrayal, the most painful truth that most of us men never realize. That your deepest desires, the sleepless nights obsessed with her, the mad jealousy, the poetic declarations of love you thought came from the bottom of your heart, were never really yours. They were just implanted commands. You were just a participant in a biological ritual as old as time itself. A ritual whose goal is not individual fulfillment, but the continuation of the species. Here is its formula, a formula that never changes. The chase is the enchantment. The satisfaction is the collapse of that enchantment. During the chase, the will pumps you full of illusion. It cloaks the other person in a golden haze of perfection. But once the goal is achieved, when it knows that continuation has been secured, or it can no longer be secured. It withdraws its energy. The mask falls, and what once looked like a goddess now looks alarmingly normal. So what happens when the puppet has completed its task? What happens when the play is over? The string is cut. And that is the feeling you're experiencing right now. The deafening silence. The seemingly endless emptiness. The feeling as if someone has unplugged the power source inside you. I know that feeling. I understand the confusion and the fear that comes with it. You look at the world, at your own relationship, and you feel an alarming indifference. Society has many names for this feeling. They call it depression. They call it apathy. They label you as heartless or having a midlife crisis. They make you believe that something inside you is broken, that it needs to be fixed. But Schopenhauer, with his ruthless wisdom, called it by a completely different name. He called it clarity, sobriety after a long intoxication. To help you visualize it in the modern world, think of it as a forced dopamine detox. During the chase, during the trance of the will to life, your brain was constantly being pumped with powerful doses of reward hormones. Every text, every date, every touch was a rewarding hit. You were addicted to the chase without even knowing it. So what happens when the chase ends? When the goal is achieved and the mission is complete? The supply line is cut off, abruptly. The crash you feel, that emptiness, is not a moral failing. It is a completely natural chemical reaction. It is the withdrawal symptom of an addict. Your brain's reward system is recalibrating. It is not proof that you are a bad person. It is proof that you were once a perfectly addicted one. And this is the moment of truth. The moment I want you to remember more than anything else. Your fading desire is not a problem that needs to be fixed. It is a message. A message from deep within you. A message that the mission assigned by nature is complete. A message that the puppet master has withdrawn. A message that you have been freed from the manipulation. You are not collapsing. You are waking up. For years, you have lived in a fog of biological urges, seeing the world through the lens of desire. Now that fog is lifting. For the first time, you have the chance to see your partner, to see yourself, and to see the world, not as a means to satisfy desire, but as they truly are. This is a higher state of awareness, a freedom that very few people dare to face because freedom often comes with an initial emptiness. And now, for the first time in your life, you are about to learn how to live in that true freedom. Let us go to the final, most important part, where we redefine everything. We have seen that the guilt gnawing at you is just a profound misunderstanding, that the closeness and familiarity of modern life, though celebrated, are the very things that have killed polarity and attraction. And most importantly, we have seen that the burning desire you once had was not entirely yours, but merely a tool of a greater force, the will to life. You were once a puppet in a grand play. Now, the strings have been cut, and as you stand here in this clear-eyed silence, the biggest question emerges: so what is true masculinity if it is not endless conquest? This is where we redefine it. The entire world tells you that masculinity is measured by the intensity of your desire, by the number of your conquests, by your ability to perform. But that is the definition of a captive. True masculinity, the masculinity of an awakened man, is not measured by how much you can pursue, but by whether you have the wisdom to recognize the game and walk away from it. It is not in the intensity of the desire. It is in the sovereignty of the awareness. It is not about being consumed by the fire. It is about becoming the observer of that fire, understanding its nature and choosing not to be burned by it anymore. You have transcended the game, you have evolved, and now that you are armed with this truth, you have a choice, a real choice. You can keep this liberation to yourself and silently let other men, our brothers, continue to suffer in confusion and blame themselves uselessly, or you can be a part of the change. Share this video. Send it to a brother, a friend who you know is silently struggling with this very question. Do not lecture. Just send it and let the truth speak for itself. Give them the gift of liberation, just as you have now received it. Because if we do not speak up, the lies will continue to win. The end of instinctual desire is not the end. It is the beginning of a conscious life. You're not broken. You're becoming free. And that is just the beginning.